If you're an agency owner or run a consulting company, but you still depend on referrals for your next client, you're making at least one of these 5 mistakes. And I've used the following frameworks to help a consultant go from 30K a month to 80K a month in recurring revenue in just 90 days. I've also helped a coach go from 5 figures in sales to 6 figures in sales in under 6 months. And I've also helped an offer go from 0 to 120K for another coach in just 90 days. Hi, my name is Marcio Santos. I run Nerd Digital. We help domain experts attract and convert leads into high-paying customers. And I'm going to walk you through all 5 mistakes and the frameworks that fixes each one that is keeping you stuck depending on referrals month after month. And I also made a free worksheet that goes with this video. The link is down below so you can download it. Print it out. The worksheet includes 1 step per mistake and how to fix it. Okay, so mistake number 1 is you're pitching before people trust you. And this is the biggest one. Now, most domain experts that are making this mistake run their marketing like this. They post some content or they run an ad, someone sees it, clicks on it, and then they land on a page, and on that page it says, book a call. That's it. That's their entire strategy. Now, maybe people book a call, but probably they don't. And if they don't, they're gone forever. You're stuck trying to acquire that person again, get their attention again, get them to click again. And when this strategy doesn't work, domain experts will blame the ad, blame the platform, or blame their offer and think they need to fix everything in their marketing. But the offer isn't the problem. The problem is the relationship, where you're going to try to sell them something for $5, $10, or $50,000, all from a single visit to your website. The problem is simple. People just need more proof. And here's what's really going on. Every domain expert that is making this mistake has this quiet voice in their head that says, why don't you people just trust me? Why don't you believe in what I have? Go ahead, click buy, give me your money. I promise that my stuff is legit. I'm gonna help you. Just go ahead, trust me. You know your work is good. You've gotten results. You've put in the years of work. So when someone lands on your website and doesn't buy, there's a part of you that's a little bit offended. It's like, hey, I'm a hardworking person. My skills are valuable. If you're visiting my website, you're in my store. If you don't want to do business here, you can show yourself out the door. And that's the problem. You see your website through your eyes and not through your customer's eyes. And the problem is that you have 100% trust in yourself, obviously, but the person visiting your website has 0 trust in you. And you're operating under the assumption that they'll just figure it out. Read your website, understand your value, understand the context, and then hand over some money. They won't. And here's the simplest way to think about this. Right now, you're treating your website visitors like locals, like they already know the neighborhood. Like they landed on your website's a new neighborhood, and they know the neighborhood. They know the language. They know what your business is about. They know how to get around. They have all the context. But that's not who they are. They're not locals. They don't know the area. They're closer to an exchange student who just landed in your city. They barely speak the language, they don't know how to get around, they don't have a map, and they can't even fully articulate the problems that they have right now that they need help with. And most experts, what they do on their website is they use confusing language. They offer little help, and they charge people up front just to walk in the store. It's completely backwards. The fix is, instead of expecting strangers to figure it out, flip it around. Become their tour guide. Translate for them, guide them, educate them. Give them a map and help them make progress on their own first. Then give them a no-brainer way to go faster, easier, and further with your help. That right there is the shift. So you stop selling and you start guiding. Because when you guide people, something very interesting happens. You stop being a stranger and you become a trusted advisor. And trusted advisors don't chase clients. Clients come to them. Now, there's this force working against every domain expert right now, and I call this the trust gap. The trust gap is this distance between your expertise and the stranger's willingness to pay. You're great at what you do, but strangers don't know that yet, and that gap is getting wider every single day. And that happens for 2 reasons. Number 1 is you need more touch points than ever. 5 years ago, it took 8 to 12 different touch points before someone made a B2B purchase. Now, today, it takes 20 to 60 touch points. And with 500 million AI-generated posts hitting the internet every day, there's more noise than ever. And more noise means more confusion about who to trust. And the more confused your ideal customer gets, the wider the trust gap gets. Trust takes longer to build than ever before. Reason number two is AI has shifted the value from execution to strategy. Before AI went mainstream, domain experts had an easier time charging for executing their expertise, whether that's delivering reports, presentations, designs, analysis, all of the knowledge work that they became experts at. But AI made the execution layer practically automatic. You're basically a few prompts away from getting the work that a knowledge worker can create. So the value shifted upstream to the strategic thinking, the judgment, the experience, the frameworks, which means that shallow one-page PDF downloads and generic checklists don't build trust anymore. They don't even get attention. You need more strategic, thoughtful, more thorough information than ever before, which is why a landing page with a book a call button on it today just isn't going to cut it. And so if the trust gap is the problem, the trust engine is the fix. Instead of asking for the sale on the first interaction, you build an engine that generates trust automatically. Here's how it works in 3 steps. First, you hook, you teach, and yes. You hook them by getting attention from your ideal customer by leading with their biggest pain. State the problems they're struggling with right now and let them know you have a solution. In step 2, you teach. Educate them about their problems and how to solve them in a new, non-obvious, and useful way. Not a teaser, an actual education that helps them to make progress. Remember, you're guiding people, just like this video you're watching right now. And then step 3 is yes. Once people have consumed your content, seen your thinking, experienced your frameworks, then you invite them to go deeper with an easy, no-brainer next step. By the time they get on a call with you, they're no longer cold. They've already seen how you think. They've already experienced your value. So the call isn't a pitch, it's really a next step. That's the trust engine. You hook, you teach, and give them an easy yes. You guide people until they trust you. Then you offer them a faster way forward. If you keep pitching before people trust you, 2 things are going to happen. 1, you're not going to generate enough leads, which makes it impossible to build any kind of demand for your services. So you post, you run ads, nobody opts in, or not enough people opt in, because you're asking people to commit before they have any reason to. And then bad thing number 2 that's going to happen is you stay dependent on referrals because you haven't refined your skills, your marketing enough to speak to cold audiences that don't know you. Not because referrals are bad, because you've never developed the skill of attracting and converting strangers. And right now, someone with half your experience, half your skills is getting more clients consistently than you. And not because they're better, because they've learned how to build trust with strangers instead of expecting strangers to figure it out. Now, if you're watching this and you're thinking to yourself, that's me, I'm pitching too early, good, because this is the easiest thing to fix, the easiest mistake to fix. And if you have the worksheet, just flip to mistake number 1 right now, and I'll walk you through the steps. Step 1 is the local test. Go to your homepage and pretend you've never heard of your own business. I know it's hard, but just give it a try. You just landed here in this new city. You don't speak the language. You're in a new neighborhood. You don't have a map. Can you figure out what this person does, this business, who they help, what do they do in under 10 seconds? If not, you're treating your visitors like locals. And the way to fix that is to go to your homepage. Look at the body of your homepage. If you have a book a call button anywhere inside the body of your homepage, replace that with a call to action to get some kind of lead magnet, something that is going to guide people, that's going to educate people on their journey to becoming a customer. Help them solve some kind of problem first. Ideally, a super hot problem that we're going to talk about later in this video that they're dying to solve. Replace any call now buttons in the body of your homepage with a call to action to get a lead magnet. Step 2 is to count your touch points. Here's how to do this. Let's say, for example, you post content on LinkedIn and someone sees the post, clicks on your profile, downloads a lead magnet. Maybe they read 1 or 2 or 3 different emails that you send. Maybe they watch a video and then they book a call. That right there is 8 touch points. You want to ask yourself, how many do you have? And then use this little score sheet in the worksheet to see how well you're doing. If you're between 0 and 10, you're doing poorly, you're jumping straight to the pitch. If you have between 10 and 20 different touch points, you're getting there, but there's still a gap. And if you have 20 plus different touch points, 20 plus different lead magnets, different pieces of content, different guides, different ways that people can learn and be guided by you, then you're on the right track. You're doing great. And step 3 is to identify the gap. What I mean by this is, where is your trust engine the weakest? Is it with traffic? Is it with leads? And you can start at the top with traffic. Are you putting out content or ads that are earning clicks. If you're only getting clicks every month, then you're doing pretty poor. If you're getting clicks weekly, that's a lot better. But if you're getting clicks daily, that's what you want. Then look at your leads. What's your landing page conversion rate? Are you below 10%? Are you between 10 and 16%? Or are you above 17%? Then look at your nurture sequence. What's your email open rate look like? Are you below 25%, between 25 and 40, or above 40% open rate? Use that to judge how well you're speaking to your leads. How well are you nurturing them? How valuable are your emails? And then lastly, think about your conversions. And a good metric for this is your email click-through rate. If you're below 1.5%, you need some improvement. If you're between 1.5 and 4%, you're doing well. And if you're above 4%, you're doing great. So if you don't know where to start, whether that's traffic or leads or conversions, where I recommend to start with your landing page conversion rate. That's a really great point where you have traffic, where you have conversion, where there's some kind of asset that you're giving away. And that's really a good place to start for thinking through your marketing, thinking about how you're building trust. If you're being a good guide to these new leads that just landed in your neighborhood, and start your prioritization there. So start looking there if you're not sure which one of these metrics to start looking at. And if you don't have any analytics put together on any of your metrics, then make that your priority. Start there. All right, that was mistake number 1. Let's move on to mistake number 2.